Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. How are you doing? I hope everything is fine. And if not, remember Sudarshan Kriya, the breathwork technique from the art of living. Fantastic to improve our well-being. Today we're going to talk about how to breathe in yoga. I recently did a video about how to breathe when you do the deep stretching exercises or a class. And I got a very positive comment from one of you who watched the video. My apologies, I don't remember now your name. Thank you very much for your comment. I always like to hear that that the content that I produce is of value for you. And and today I thought I will do this one about yoga because it's not so selbstverständlich, we say in German. Sorry, I speak German. I live in Zurich, Switzerland. So it's not something to be taken for granted. That everybody knows how to breathe in yoga. There are a lot of people who are new to yoga. They don't know how to breathe, and it's a completely valid question. Okay, and you don't have to feel ashamed or in any how. Even me, as I'm still growing and learning my yoga practice, I sometimes I'm faced with this question as well in some positions. So because the breathing is very important, so you want to get it right. Yeah. So in yoga, we, as a general rule, whenever you go to a yoga class, I've been teaching some yoga classes, and the students, they will be breathing out through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, or they will be inhaling, with their mouth open, things like that. That as a teacher, of course, I'm teaching, so I'm aware. I open my eyes and I become aware, right? That they are not breathing properly, and I need to correct that. And this is people who join regularly, yoga classes, at the gym, at gyms, at different places. So it is something that needs clarification for all of us. so so in yoga, as a general rule, okay, we breathe in and out through the nose as a general rule. So and all together, biologically speaking, as a general rule, breathing is for in the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating, and maybe some specific types of exercises, like if you are jogging, a little bit strongly, then maybe you need to breathe out through the mouth to catch a little bit of air again, and then through the nose. So as a general rule, the nose even has we have the nostrils. They have the nostrils act as a filter, as a filter to the air, because the air may have toxins. The air contain toxins, so we don't want to bring those toxins into our body. So for instance, you may have noticed this, that sometimes, it's one of these small mosquitoes, has come into your nose, and it's so annoying, so disturbing, and we can get it out quickly. And that is with the nostrils. Imagine if we will breathe in through the mouth, the filter wouldn't be there. The mosquito will go directly. These small, I'm talking about these tiny small ones, right? They will go directly into our body, and that's not healthy, right? So so we want always, okay, as a general rule, to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the nose, okay? And in yoga, only when the teacher, there are some exercises, that requires you to breathe out through the mouth, because when you breathe out through the mouth, it helps you to relax even more. Like, notice, like when we are tired and we come up from a long day, we sit in the sofa. What do we do? We sit and we do, you know it's something unconscious that we do, because our body relaxes more like that, when we are breathing out through the mouth. And this is why when we do the deep stretching, to help us relax more into the posture as a wet noodle, we breathe out through the mouth. So so always watch for the teacher's instructions, okay? Because there are some practices, that are done to breathe out through the mouth. For instance, me when I teach some shoulders release tension, again we are targeting here tension and we want to release, so breathing out through the mouth, it's very, very powerful. So for instance, if you have a tense shoulders, which we normally have, a lot of us, right? One a very, very good, a powerful exercise that you can do is to breathe in, and again we breathe in through the nose, not through the mouth. Okay, we breathe in, we bring the shoulders to our ears. We can do one and then the other, for instance, but normally I do both. But let's start with one. We breathe in, we bring the shoulder to the ear, and then we breathe out. You see, if I would do that through the nose, it wouldn't be the same. I wouldn't have the same relieving effect, And yoga, though yoga, one part of yoga, it depends what type of yoga you do, but altogether, it has a very relaxing feeling. You feel very well. It's we don't want to go into that wet nodal relaxing position, okay? Unless we are talking about yin yoga, okay? I'll go into that. Normally, in a yang class, which is more a little bit, hatha yoga, more movement, more dynamic, we want, yes, we want to stretch our body. Sometimes we want to work our strength, sometimes our flexibility. And we want, constant movement, because remember, yoga, it's very powerful. We are working on the different nervous system, we have 7 nervous systems in our body. So we are working on them, and the lymphatic system, for instance, the garbage collector, the one that eliminates toxin from the body, we want it to be completely active, so when we breathe in, breathe out through the nose, majority of the time, that has an impact, on the whole practice, on our body, and on helping us to move, from one posture to the other, because if we will relax too much, then it's like, oh, moving to the next posture, it will be harder unless you are doing yin yoga, right? And in yin yoga, for instance, the breathing, sometimes it can be through the mouth because you are completely relaxed, you're completely letting go. So it's like you breathe in through the nose, and it's fine. In yin yoga, yeah, yin, it's a different type of practice. Okay, here I'm talking, generally speaking, the yang yoga, the yoga that it's a little bit more 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 active, right? So we so for instance, with this exercise, right, breathe in and breathe out. If I will do this through the nose, breathe in, breathe out, you see, it's not the same. You can feel it in your own body, and even you can hear it, right, when I'm breathing. It's it's not the same. So because of that, you always have to listen very careful, the instructions of the teacher, so that you get the most, fixed exercise. So if I'm teaching this one, and normally I say breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth, I let go. But if I wouldn't say that, for instance, someone will do, I will have to correct the posture. Or even if I will say it, right, this is what it happens. I will say it, but the person will continue. I will say breathe in through the nose, breathe out through the mouth, and the person will still continue breathing breathing out through the nose. I will say breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth, and the person will do, like this, so that the exercise wouldn't have the same effect, so that the exercise have the intended effect, so that my yoga teaching, has the intended effect. Then I will correct the person. I will correct during the class of the person. Okay, so that's how it works, right? And then when it comes to going in, doing the body movements, like when we go into the posture, we normally breathe in, because when we breathe in, the diaphragm goes down, so that the lungs, they expand, the diaphragm expand, the thorax expands, so that we can get a lot of air, right? And because of that, when we go into the posture, when we raise our arms, we are making an effort, right, to going into the posture. So let's say, for instance, right, we inhale. So I'm going to the posture. I need that strength, I need that breathing capacity, that my lungs give me that oxygen. So I'm breathing, and then I breathe out. Whenever you breathe in and breathe out, you close. For instance, here I close. Whenever I close, I exhale. Breathe in. So I breathe out, relax. Breathe in and breathe out. Or breathe in and breathe out. So breathe in, the diaphragm goes down so that my here thoracic area have more space. My lungs, they expand, and I have more breathing capacity. Exhale, the diaphragm goes up. Okay, and then I continue in normal breathing, right? If I will just finish the class, like at the end of the class, right? The teachers, they say, let's take a deep breathing, and then let's breathe out, relax. So the diaphragm comes up and comes in its normal position. Okay, so this is how we want to do it. And an extra plus is when we are practicing yoga, we can use, excuse me, the asanas. I think it's very good. The asanas. Excuse me, yes, we use the Ujjayi breath. We can use the Ujjayi breath because the Ujjayi breath, or the ocean breath, it's a type of breathing where we contract the throat. I have a video on my channel in case you know it. We breathe in through the nose. We contract here the throat. When we contract the throat, the glottis gets contracted, and then that makes this sound, like when you are thirsty, when you fog in a mirror, that sound, that's the glottis contracting. And this when this stimulates the vagus nervus, which helps with relaxation, and with activating the parasympathetic nervous system, for relaxation. This is why, and it's also very powerful. The Ujjayi breath, it's very, very powerful. It allows you as well to hold the postures much more longer and to have a much more soothing practice. So if I use Ujjayi breath, my oxygen, my breathing capacity, it's much more controlled. I have much more control of the breathing, and then I can breathe out. It just helps. It helps a lot, to have a much more soothing practice, much more controlling practice. The benefits are tremendous. However, many people, when they use Ujjayi breath, when they are told, the yoga class, when doing asanas, you can use the Ujjayi breath, if you want to get the deeper benefits on the posture. it Maybe you do it like for 2 3 postures and then you forget, right? Because sometimes you breathe out through the mouth, and then it's you may forget. So this is why many people, when they practice yoga, they don't use in the asanas, Ujjayi breath. Like in my school of yoga, for instance, when I did the 200 hours, with the Sri Sri Yoga School, I asked this question, right? And we don't use Ujjayi breath in the asanas, because, as I said, many people tend to forget. And we have other practices. When we do Sudarshan Kriya in the morning, we do the pranayamas, we do Ujjayi breath, belly breathing, using always Ujjayi breath. So Ujjayi breath, it's always there. Only when we do in the art of living, for instance, we have a practice. It's called Padma Sadhana. It's a beautiful practice designed by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, by the founder of the Art of Living. It's a very good practice to be done before Sahaj meditation, when we do that one should always be done in Ujjayi breath, because when you do it in Ujjayi breath, you become, it more center, more calm, more you are your breath is more deep even, so the benefits of yoga get enhanced and get increased. This doesn't mean that if you don't use Ujjayi breath, okay, during your yoga classes, doesn't mean that especially during the asanas, okay, because during the pranayamas it's very very important, and because Ujjayi breath is a pranayama, Pranayama means, it's a type of, it's breathing it's to control to regulate. I don't like the word control so much. To regulate our breathing. And Ujjayi breath, it's very, it is a little bit, it is calming, but I mean, it is energizing, but at the same time, it's like very calming in the sense, not calming in the sense of, like, oh, now I cannot do anything else, but in the sense that it allows you really to be centered, to be much more centered, much more control, much more in contact with your body. Is Ujjayi breath. It's very very powerful, and all of the other breathing exercises that you may do, such as like triangle breathing or boxing breathing, they all build on Ujjayi breath. If you do them, of course you can do them without Ujjayi breath. That's not the same. And it's always taught. When a yoga teacher teaches, like, oh, do Ujjayi breath. Always with Ujjayi breath. It's just amazing. Okay, so. So always be present, okay, that's part of yoga during the yoga class, always be present to the teacher indications when it comes to, to the breathing. Now let's inhale and exhale. Let's breathe in through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. Or just doing, depending on the on the exercise you are doing in that moment. And as I say, yin yoga, which is this passive form of yoga, is a little bit more. It's a little bit different. It's not so strict in the sense of always, do what's the name? Breathe in, breathe in. Sorry, always. I was going to say always do UJ breath. That normally we don't do it because you are controlling your body. You are regulating your body, and with yin yoga, you just want to completely let go. You may do maybe at the beginning, of the class to like not energize because UJ breath is energizing, but not so much, as other practices. You may do it like to center, to center yourself, to increase a little bit your breathing capacity, and then you do your yin yoga class. And in yin yoga, as I say, if you breathe in through the nose and through the mouth, okay, or even once if you just like this and you're like, oh, you breathe in through the mouth and through the nose. It's just about letting go, surrendering, really becoming aware of your body, being very in tune with how you are feeling in that precise moment. We don't want in yoga, we activate the parasympathetic system, so we don't want to be in our mind, in the active mode, thinking and controlling. I need to do this, I need to do this. Of course, you have, the asanas that you have to do in a specific way, but it's everything more light. Alignment, it's not so important in yoga. If one day, your body, you cannot twist that much. You cannot put, let's say, your leg in 40 degrees angles when you are doing the crocodile position, because you just feel you have here a little bit more of tension. It doesn't feel like that you just want to let go. It's completely fine. Okay, so let the mind completely loose, the body completely loose, and just enjoy your practice, enjoy yoga, and enjoy your breathing. We are so thankful. We should be so thankful. We are so lucky to be able to practice yoga and to be able to be aware of our breathing, you know. And when I'm talking about yoga, I include as well meditation. For me, it's the same yoga, meditation as well. So when you do meditation, it's the same. Sometimes if it's a guided meditation, the teacher may say, you know, breathe in through the mouth, you know, as if you're drinking from a straw. And now close your mouth and breathe out through the nose. And you just follow the instruction. It's not the common way, but you know, during the guided meditation, because you are trying to activate certain parts of the brain, you know, of your body, it's completely fine, you know, and it's just one time, you know, one time or a couple of times, you know, and through like a straw. Or sometimes they may tell you breathe in like a straw and breathe out through the mouth as well. So breathe in and breathe out. You know, it's just part of the class. So just always listen to the teachers' indications. Be present. That's why we practice mindfulness, and love your breath. It's the one that is here since day one with you until the last day. Enjoy your practice. Bye.